We are told that science started with curiosity. But what if it actually started with business? Before Rome and before industry, a new kind of spirit changed everything. This is the story of how entrepreneurs created the modern mind. Many trade goods came by sea and land from the east and the west, from places whose geography was not well known. In fact, people lived in a world very similar to today's economic system in ancient world. Did you know that Thales, known as the first philosopher, made a speculation in olive oil pressing facilities, similar to modern stock market speculation? It is known that Thales earned a large amount of money from this speculation. Is it a coincidence that the first philosopher was also a speculator? Is it funny, or is it an important lesson? Let us think about this together. Economic opportunities such as houses, workplaces, olive groves, olive oil presses, and mills that provided passive income were similar to those of today. For example, buying a large vineyard or building a wine production facility could be a profitable investment. Let us look at the small city-states on the Aegean coast. Their relationship with trade was like a miniature version of today's commercial world. We can explain this trade scene as follows. Trading ships left ports in what we now call England, shown on ancient maps as Angleterra. Although these ships were wooden and small compared to modern ones, they passed through the strait called the Pillars of Hercules by ancient people, today's Strait of Gibraltar. They stopped at other Mediterranean ports, and trade goods from the east, coming through the silk and spice routes, met unique products on the Aegean coast of Anatolia. High-quality products such as olive oil and red wine from the region were distributed from Egyptian ports to all major Mediterranean ports. Trade opportunities and the freedom to invest in trade goods and real estate led to the rise of a middle class between citizens and rulers, as Aristotle said. This middle class had the freedom to live without constant work, supported by trade and passive income. According to Aristotle, these people demanded freedom, wanted to be free, and wanted to think freely. The first scientists, known as natural philosophers or Pre-Socratics, were mostly individuals from this middle class. At that time, the ruling class could be a council, a king, or two kings ruling the city. We know that the first philosophers who developed science and philosophy were assigned to establish trade colonies along the Aegean, Marmara, and Black Sea coasts. These people had an entrepreneurial spirit, and cities used these skills for trade. Thales, who lived in the city of Miletus, mentioned at the beginning of the video, was known for his success in one of the two high-value products of the region, olive oil or wine production. It is also known that he visited the Greek trade colony in Egypt. Olive groves, which had high commercial value, were known to produce fruit one year and rest the next year. In the year without fruit, olive prices and olive oil press prices dropped significantly. Thales rented all the olive oil pressing facilities in the region for 1 year. With this speculation, he earned a very large amount of money from the olive oil presses the following year. Is it a coincidence that a person deeply involved in trade, like a stock market speculator, produced the sparks of free thought? People who asked questions and produced ideas in natural sciences and philosophy were generally like Thales. They belonged to the middle class, had an entrepreneurial spirit, understood the economy, and were closely connected to trade. They were not people who earned a salary by working fixed hours. They had time to think. In today's world, Such people are called entrepreneurs, or people with an entrepreneurial spirit. In the birth of science and philosophy, economy, entrepreneurial spirit, and freedom were essential. In this video, we discussed the relationship between entrepreneurial spirit and philosophy, and how the economic structure of small cities on the Aegean coast was actually very similar to today. We tried to understand the people of that time. If you want to follow these unique topics in philosophy and history, which are shared values of all people, please subscribe. Leave a comment. I would very much like to read your free thoughts. See you in the next important topic. Thank you for listening. Stay with science, philosophy, and history. See you in the next video.